Iron Man vs. Batman, DC vs. Marvel, a clash of titans from two universes. But is this rivalry merely a spectacle, or does it unveil a deeper truth about heroism and humanity? In the shadows of the night, a masked man tries to run off after looting a family, but he is stopped in his steps by another towering masked man. But this one has a dark cape flowing behind him like a shadow. It is Batman. His eyes shine with unwavering resolve, and the thief realizes the night does not belong to him anymore. The Dark Knight is here, and his presence is enough to ensure justice for the innocent. As this scene unveils, there is a flash of lightning in the sky, but on a closer look, it is not lightning. It is the great Iron Man, wrapped in his gold and red armor, piercing through the sky. With the speed he is going, it is evident he is up to some real business. Maybe he is rushing to deal with an alien intervention, or what if the Mandarin has made a return? Oh, never mind. He was just headed to a hot date. Classic Iron Man move. Superhero stories often revolve around exploring the complexities of human nature by portraying larger-than-life characters. Iron Man and Batman top the list. One belongs to the world of Marvel, while the other rules DC. Their journeys as heroes are shaped by their unique approaches to balance personal sacrifices with their responsibilities. Apart from the glamour of the heroic world, the superhero life has a significant impact on their mental and emotional well-being. While they both are wealthy, intelligent, and resourceful, great things always have a great cost, and their paths to heroism are marked by their fair share of repercussions. In this video, we are going to compare Iron Man and the Dark Knight to explore how they navigate the balance between their personal lives and social responsibilities. Behind the heroic capes and masks are men with some gruesome realities. Embrace yourselves as we dive deep into the world of heroes. Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne both dedicate their lives to protecting others, but their motivations and methods reveal distinct perspectives of their personalities. They were not born as heroes. Like everyone else, they were once ordinary children, growing up in ordinary families. And then something happened, either a tragedy or a loss that changed their lives forever. Their lives serve as a constant reminder that sometimes the greatest losses shape the strongest humans. The advent of Iron Man was initially driven by guilt. Tony Stark is the son of a wealthy industrialist and weapons manufacturer, Howard Stark, and his wife Maria. Tony grew up as a genius with a brilliant mind for technology and innovations. He inherited a keen interest in developing new weapons from his father. Upon the untimely death of his parents, Tony inherited Stark Industries. After inheriting his father's empire, he made significant progress by making advanced weapons. His company surpassed all competitors, and Tony reached the top of his game in no time. However, fate took a dark turn for him when he decided to consult on weapons contracts overseas in enemy territory. While he was there, an explosive device exploded under his vehicle, and he was on the brink of death. But maybe there was more to his time than that. He survived that near-death experience and woke up in the prison of a warlord. There, Tony discovered that the explosion had caused more damage than he had imagined. A piece of shrapnel had lodged dangerously close to his heart, and it could cost him his life. Thankfully, a fellow inmate and an engineer, Yinsen, tried to keep the shrapnel at bay and saved Tony. While in prison, Tony was forced to design weapons. Instead of losing hope and giving up on his dreams, he used that time as inspiration and designed an iron suit. For the final preparations, Yinsen had to lay his life in an unfortunate series of events. This strengthened Tony's resolve to finish what he had started, and to not let his friend's sacrifice be in vain. When he finished the suit and wore it for the first time, he was able to finally escape the prison, and he returned to the United States as a completely different man. Back home, where he had full access to his equipment, Tony made a more advanced and efficient suit, and that marked the beginning of his legacy as Iron Man. On the other hand, Bruce Wayne's transformation into Batman was fueled by grief. His parents were Thomas and Martha. They were residents of Gotham City. Bruce enjoyed a comfortable childhood, and with the immense wealth of his family, he was bound to have a bright future as well. But before he could live that future, his childhood was forever tainted with the horrific deaths of his parents. The Wayne family was leaving a theater one night when they were mugged. sadly, it was not just mugging. The loving parents of Bruce were shot dead right in front of his eyes, and he was left helpless in the brutal world. After the tragic loss, Bruce was raised by his family's butler. As he grew up, instead of falling into self-sabotage, he vowed to fight against all criminals. He wanted to protect the people of Gotham from suffering the same loss that he had suffered. His identity as Batman was inspired by the bats that infested his family's property. He was always afraid of them, so taking up the name of Batman was a significant indication of him tackling his fears head-on. And in no time, he was known as the hero of Gotham City, fighting the evil in the darkness of the night. Both men bear the burden of immense societal responsibilities, but their approaches to dealing with them are significantly different. Despite the immense pressure, they don't let their resolve weaken. Each day they strive to be the best for themselves and those around them. Tony Stark is primarily a futurist. He believes in shaping a better world through groundbreaking technologies and innovations. In other words, he believes that if you can control the future, there is no need to predict it. He is always up to the idea of building innovations that could help him become a better version of himself. Moreover, if he wants something, he would go to all extents to have it. Sometimes he is even willing to push ethical boundaries if it means they could ensure the greater good of the world. His brilliance and ambition drive his success, but his methods often blur the lines between right and wrong. All is well that ends well is his way of life. On the contrary, Bruce Wayne is a man of tradition. He is grounded in the values of discipline and justice. His unwavering moral principles are what set him apart. Making use of his physical strength and detective skills are his ways of protecting Gotham City. Rather than trying to control the future, he uses his tactics to predict it. More than technology, he relies on his physical strength. He opts for a more personal and hands-on approach to confront evil directly, while upholding a strict code of ethics. He never fails to go by the book, even when the world around him may not always do the same. The strength of both heroes is incomparable. It just does not come with physical training. It is backed by a strong will to win and walk out of every war as conquerors. As Mahatma Gandhi said, strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Bruce Wayne is a top-tier athlete. His immense physical strength comes from strict training, martial arts expertise, and combat skills. In a physical fight, he can defeat almost any opponent, whereas Iron Man relies primarily on his suit for strength. The suit gives him superhuman capabilities, which serve to enhance his strength and endurance. His suit enables him to lift massive weights and survive extreme conditions. If he has his suit on, he can most definitely fight opponents stronger than any human could handle. Unlike Iron Man, Batman does not solely depend on technology. He believes in the power of his sheer muscles, but he still uses advanced gadgets, vehicles, and tools. His famous Batmobile and Batarang readily improve his efficiency. In addition to aiding his escape, the Batmobile also gives him positive aura points, adding to his iconic presence. Other than these two, he has amazing technological tools, but they do not allow him to acquire superhuman abilities. Iron Man's strength is highly dependent on his technology, which is heavily equipped with repulsor beams, missiles, and AI support systems. Batman has a lack of superhuman strength and durability, so this means he depends on preparation and combat skills to win. Without significant preparations, he might be overpowered by his opponent. For Iron Man, his lack of physical strength makes him highly dependent on his suit. If his suit is damaged, disabled, or hacked in any situation, he can be at a serious disadvantage. Without his suit, Iron Man would likely have to rely more on his running skills than his combat abilities. As invincible as they might seem, almost all superheroes suffer from their own battles. Sometimes their choices significantly impact their mental health. Even the strongest have a breaking point. Just like that, as invincible as they might seem, almost all superheroes suffer from their own battles. Sometimes their choices significantly impact their mental health. The confident demeanor and swaggy appearance of Iron Man hide his vulnerable mental health. The Battle of New York in the Avengers left him with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. The emotional scars were forever etched into his brain, and he could never truly move on. While dealing with the trauma, he started depending on his suit more than ever. He found it as a mask to hide his weaknesses. More than a tool, the suit became an addiction for him. For him, it was a way to guard the conflicts of his personality from the outer world. It served to cover his anxiety and fear of failing those who have high expectations of him. Bruce Wayne also faces severe mental health challenges, but his problems are more introspective. Trauma and grief are the major causes of his self-destructive behavior. The traumatic death of his parents follows him around everywhere and shadows his constant pursuit of justice. The need to protect the residents of Gotham City from evil drives him away from his loved ones. As much as his obsessions help him serve his purpose better, it has negatively impacted his mental well-being. He isolates himself from any meaningful relationships. The mantle of Batman serves as a refuge as well as a curse for him. It allows him to channel his pain, but it keeps him from healing from past traumas. The fear of losing everything he has worked so hard for keeps him from showing any vulnerabilities, and his internal conflicts drive him to become more cold and distant. Relationships are complicated, even for ordinary people, but for heroes, the amount of effort that goes into building relationships is unimaginable. Both the heroes have to play double roles. When it is needed, they turn their superhero mode on, but apart from that, they have their personal lives as well. Tony Stark's relationship with Pepper Potts plays a central role in shaping his life. It shows his transformation from a self-centered, emotionally distant man to a more vulnerable and trusting one. In the chaotic world of Iron Man, Pepper represents stability and humanity. She brings out the best in him, but sometimes their relationship suffers the cost of Stark's heroic life. However, Pepper's patience and love is what keeps their relationship going. Eventually, Tony laying down his life to save the world in Avengers Endgame shows his growth as a true superhero. Unlike Tony, Bruce always tries to distance himself from others. He does not let anyone get too close to him. Heroes have more enemies than friends, and Batman fears that his enemies might use his loved ones as leverage. This fear is the product of the haunting trauma of his parents' death. He does not want to relive the pain of losing a loved one again, so he does not allow himself to have relationships or develop feelings. And the constant push and pull of emotions is evident in his relationship with Selina Kyle, Alfred Pennyworth, and even Robin. Both men are trapped in the consequences of their own choices. Although Iron Man's technology and Batman's mission give their lives a purpose, they also come with a lot of struggles. Just like a double-edged sword, their heroism might be inspiring, but it shows how the strongest carry the heaviest burdens. We all have had childhood fantasies of living up to the persona of our favorite superhero. They have always impacted our lives in ways we didn't even realize. Whether it is their ability to lift mountains or to defeat the most threatening evils, something about them always inspires us. Moreover, the struggles they face as heroes help us relate to them at a personal level. The visual representation of the flaws and setbacks in Tony Stark's life resonates with reality. He serves as a symbol of optimism. After all that he has suffered, he still can rise from the ashes. This gives hope that no matter how bad things seem to be at the moment, there will always be a brighter side to them. And maybe if we hold on for a little longer, everything will get better. His journey from a self-serving billionaire to a selfless hero shows us how tragedies can shape us and bring out the best in us. Batman is the ultimate one-man army. His story shows how if a man is determined enough, he can move mountains. He is proof that trauma doesn't just create criminals, it can also shape heroes. His resilience inspires people to overcome their challenges and strive for their betterment. The no-kill rule and his obligation to his moral values highlight the importance of accountability and restraint. It shows how one should always keep emotions in check, even in the situation of adversity. Ultimately, the legacies of both the heroes are not just defined by their actions, but by the impact they have on others. Bruce's legacy is more ambiguous. His commitment to save his city ensures its survival, but some speculate that his motives are not just driven by his obsession to help the oppressed. Some believe that his motives are merely for the sake of vengeance. They say Batman's ultimate heroic moves are to take revenge for his parents' death. However, whatever the motives may be, if the outcome is positive, then it hardly leaves any room to raise questions. Iron Man's journey ends in a heroic sacrifice to save the universe. His end is a testament to what a true hero is and how he doesn't hesitate to lay down his life if need be. His legacy lives on in the people he inspired, from superheroes to common people. But his end makes us question whether such amazing heroes deserve to die such tragic deaths. Or is there more to the story? Is Tony Stark about to make a comeback and yet again shock us all with his new technological advances? Guess we will have to wait to see the truth behind it. In the end, there is not a definite answer as to who bears the greater burden. Iron Man and Batman are both different sides of the same coin. Their differences highlight the dynamic nature of heroism. Their struggles remind us that no matter how extraordinary an individual appears to be, at the core, they are just flawed humans with a lot of responsibility. That was it for today's video. After thoroughly comparing the strength of these two powerful heroes, who do you think will be the last one standing in a fight? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel and we will catch you in the next one, hopefully, with some more interesting content.